Well, we are live on Ekrom, Nsem, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on TikTok. Yeah, now we are building up to the UEFA Champions League Grand Finale. Saturday between Luis Enrique Martinez Garcia's Paris Saint-Germain and Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. When you look at these two coaches, coaches are free Spain, and one day maybe be on how Spain coaches in the emerge and the future of the Spanish national team. Send you a city. But then all the concentration about the UEFA Champions League at Budapest Saturday 4 o'clock sharp. That's our game now, and also Eba. Now, when you go into a bit of dynamics of this particular game, Metuma Catcher said it is going to be a very an encounter, an bad because Luis Enrique and Papa Ndidi Mikel Arteta ideas in football, philosophies in football, quite identical. And the crew say, time Mikel Arteta, Barcelona Academy in 2001. Now only progressing in two of the players are no more Barcelona main team nima. Na Papa Ndidi Mikel Arteta at that time no young boy, small boy. Now looking up to Pep Guardiola and Luis Enrique. No one that say Nyini obey a manager. Okoye assistant manager to Pep Guardiola, and Luis Enrique, the ideas and philosophy is more or less like Oboro from Papa Ndidi Pep Guardiola, and that is why he is the second most decorated Barcelona manager after Pep Guardiola. Who Pep Guardiola, if you are the closest thing to Pep Guardiola, is Luis Enrique, because you see, time Pep Guardiola Barcelona team or just 6 out of 6 trophies. Luis Enrique by and also just 5 out of 6 trophies, which means he said when you want to compare coaches, Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, that is the standard. And these are the two coaches Mikel Arteta in his days as a colleague now looking up to them. Now when you look at Paris Saint-Germain team Mikel Arteta Arsenal PSG a team a boy in the growth and performance rate of Papa Ndidi Mikel Arteta, because Abraham Mikel Arteta in 2001 no ya kwara Barcelona team no at La Masia. Now Iniesta, young boy Iniesta Bojano, Xavi Hernandez no Bojano. They were players and no more Abraham Ndidi Mikel Arteta him. But then Arteta had the opportunity to play for Team Ndidi Paris Saint-Germain, and then guaranteed the opportunity to play for Rangers and then to come to England to play for Everton and Team Ndidi at the Arsenal Football Club. So Ukobusa Papa Ndidi Mikel Arteta manager for Arsenal said Team Ben a boy no more to be limelight in ma or be catch us at Paris Saint-Germain, because if he hadn't been so a ball for Paris Saint-Germain now he had the opportunity to also play for Rangers and to also come to England to play for Everton and Bobo Kwaridin at the Arsenal Football Club. So this is a bit of history about Papa Ndidi Mikel Arteta. Now come the UEFA Champions League game. When you look at these two teams, a match between a game between a higher scoring team against one of the best defensive teams in the UEFA Champions League. Now, the highest scoring team clearly it is Paris Saint-Germain, because when you look at the data and the starter, this particular season in the UEFA Champions League, 14 matches played, 44 goals scored. Now, in the history of the Champions League, a cut back as 1999, 2000, and Barcelona a share 45 goals on my record. And you have a Paris Saint-Germain ababeduna a car 1 goal come equal Barcelona record or share 45 goals in the 1999-2000 year now. You bought the UEFA Champions League. A car 1 goal Paris Saint-Germain equal, which means that when it comes to goal scoring abilities, Paris Saint-Germain are in abundance, especially with the attack. Send your revolutionary attack. Now, when you come to Papa Ndidi Mikel Arteta, the team Ndidi Arsenal Football Club, now and also after. When you look at goals conceded now, after 14 matches, Team Ndidi Arsenal are conceded just 6 goals, unbeaten from day 1 till now. Arsenal, say, when you look at the group stages and after the league phase of the UEFA Champions League, Ebedu final, Arsenal ain't lose a single game. If they are able to go into the final to win after 90 minutes, it means Arsenal able the UEFA Champions League tournament without losing a single game was invincible. And when you say Arsenal, when it comes to invincibility, and under Arsene Wenger, Omuyebi in the league in 2003-2004 season. And then Mikel Arteta had translated that spirit of invisibility. No, Ababe Rome in the Champions League so far, Timbia into me and share. Now, when you look at the defense of Mikel Arteta Arsenal now, this particular season, almost have conceded just 6 goals. But 6 goals no ma conceded no, or met too much at 29 goals, which means he said when Arsenal are able to score, they have equal mantles to defend. But then so far Paris Saint-Germain team now, watch 44 goals now, we conceded 22 goals, which means he said when they are able to score, it is also hard for them to defend, and it is the way Luis Enrique asserting the team. No, we saw it at Barcelona, and we are seeing the same thing at Paris Saint-Germain, which I will come into the gimmicks of that game. No, now you game element. No, the first 2 elements I would want to touch on are the 2 coaches, Luis Enrique here and Mikel Arteta here. Also, the 2 coaches in the competition I can clearly attest to the fact to say Mikel Arteta, the pedigree, the ideas, and the approach now, and through the approach of Papa Luis Enrique, especially in the UEFA Champions League. Luis Enrique won the UEFA Champions League at Barcelona. Free war about Paris Saint-Germain, their first UEFA Champions League trophy were winning. And for some time now, a game in the Champions League final, team be a defensive team like Inter Milan, about 5 goals in the final. Luis Enrique team no, me call last season, Inter Milan team, now actually we are seeing so munim defended or shared by 5 goals to 0. That should tell you, say, about the Champions League finals, Papa Luis Enrique, in terms of experience as managers, Luis Enrique experience no more. Papa Mikel Arteta. And when you pick those 2 items, you can clearly see that Luis Enrique is ahead of Papa Mikel Arteta. Then again, you can come and pick the goalkeepers of the 2 teams. Now with the goalkeepers of Paris and as the goalkeeper of Paris Saint-Germain and that of Arsenal, I can clearly tell you, say, even in recent contemporary times, goalkeepers David Raya Thibaut Courtois of Real Madrid is the only goalkeeper I bet me I can say Ebanu go on that pan naturally and yes a form asem Ebanu go on that pan there. Thibaut Courtois penaya above David Raya. David Raya has been the standard in the English Premier League for a long time. And no Thibaut Courtois everywhere in Europe, he is the man for the job. One say Enye Abranche did David Raya. I'm sure Arsenal will be laughing at the wrong side of their mouth, even with the league, especially the game they played against West Ham United. We were 1-on-1 save by David Raya stop here. And it has been continuous for the last 3 seasons. And nothing about the Golden Globes now. For the last 3 seasons, goalkeeper be anywhere what you imagine David Raya as compared to the goalkeeper for Paris Saint-Germain. David Raya is way above that of Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper. Now pick the defense of the 2 teams, the centre backs. Or Marquinhos of Paris Saint-Germain, or William Pacho of Paris Saint-Germain. Then you bring in Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. Over some players here, Mabuboya. There is no way you choose Marquinhos and Pacho over William Saliba and Abrante Gabriel Magalhaes. Per the experience, Marquinhos, because Marquinhos has been with the team, he has played at the highest level, he has that experience. But in terms of centre-back telepathy and connection and the football must serve it in the last even 3 years now. You cannot say over Piqué, Abranchadin, Marquinhos, and Pacho's combination over William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. So I can't say about top 5 partnerships in Europe right now. Definitely you are going to mention Gabriel Magalhaes and you are going to mention Abranchadin, William Saliba or more partnership. So 3 departments, and I'm already this year. In terms of coaching, Paris Saint-Germain, in terms of goalkeeping, Arsenal, in terms of the centre backs in the defense, and also Arsenal, now look at their fullbacks. I can tell you, say, a very difficult because when you pick Nuno Mendes, now Baba Piqué Ashraf Hakimi, how many fullbacks do we have? Nuno Mendes and Ashraf Hakimi. And then no soon tina maybe the entire and I said a also Arsenal a fast was stop it a team at the Paris Saint-Germain. So with the fullbacks, I'll go for PSG's fullbacks over Arsenal's fullback. And found say whether Calafiori will play, and found say whether Ben White or Julian Timber will start the game. And say Julian Timber able to me Abba. But as of now, Ben White is not ready for that particular gamer. And you see news if we Arsenal Hoba. Now you see, when you look at the dynamics of the game, I quite Arsenal be first one bet to stop Paris Saint-Germain because I personally think say this particular year is the year for Arsenal Football Club, and nothing is stopping them. After 22 years of missing out on the Premier League, after 20 years of missing out on their first Champions League title, and they final after 20 years or more, and I personally think under Mikel Arteta, this is the right time. What are the things I was saying Arsenal no matter to this UEFA Champions League? One, the midfield. Over Paris Saint-Germain, Boa. Clearly, machinery, one of the sectors, their midfield. With a branch and Vitinha, a branch and John Neves, and of course, Fabian Ruiz. Positions here, the midfield position is the core of team and at the Paris Saint-Germain. And Nsem say if you want to beat Paris Saint-Germain, you need players of more ding, players of more flair. No matter if you want to stop the runs and the football gimmicks of ASR players here at Paris Saint-Germain in Ukraine. It is all here against Chelsea, the Club World Cup. We saw Reece James operating in the midfield because Reece James will give you strength. We saw Moses Caicedo, so also bought the normal position in the midfield because Caicedo will give you interceptions, will give you blocks, and Caicedo also was strength. And I know can be na Paris Saint-Germain and to many already or Mulusu the Club World Cup against Chelsea. And mind you, that is the only trophy or may say out that particular season. Now come with G6 trophies now. Chelsea unstoppable. And in the same vein, if Arsenal wants to have a say in this particular UEFA Champions League, they should be able to stop the Paris Saint-Germain midfield. Because so when Paris Saint-Germain they want to stop in the midfield now my Vitinha munya access to the ball, their thinking pattern and their intelligence in the game they can punish you on any day. And Mikel Arteta should be able to map up a strategy a bit to stop the midfield of Paris Saint-Germain. The likes of Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and Marcel Lewis-Kelly. I think that Marcel Lewis-Kelly should start this particular game because Marcel Lewis-Kelly, interceptions, he's able to progress the ball very well. Then you get the same progression from a branch and he did Declan Rice. Then Odegaard will do the distribution for the forward players. So ultimately, map up a strategy to stop the midfield trial of Team and Didi Paris Saint-Germain. Arsenal are halfway into winning this particular game. The second thing Arsenal must watch out and deal with it. Mikel Arteta also cannot deal with it. The runs of Achraf Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. So why Paris Saint-Germain born now? Nuno Mendes and Achraf Hakimi, they serve as wingers going forward. And to born by and I won't say fullbacks now. You see them overlapping and being part of the build-up play higher up the pitch. And 2% stop you. What you do is that you make sure that you stop their runs from the ball. So we jam bomb and ball so that definitely they will cause traffic, they will cause harm to you. Because when you look at Nuno Mendes or with speed or when you look at a branch and Didi Achraf Hakimi or no to me ban him, he's able to create spaces. So if Arsenal wants to win this particular game, they need to stop the runs of the fullbacks of Paris Saint-Germain. So be involved in the play. Now the third one I was Arsenal stopping the movement of Ousmane Dembele. Because the good news about this year is that Ousmane Dembele is ready and has returned to training or Bebo Bidiama Paris Saint-Germain. Now the Ousmane Dembele and shut down for Koso. No credit say Ousmane Dembele is an integral member of this Paris Saint-Germain team per the positions are. He is operating as a false nine. Danana make us say every possessive-minded manager or in the team performing when he is playing a false nine. And to go back to Barcelona days, Pep Guardiola, AAB, or Manchester City, in one of the seasons, Kevin De Bruyne played as a false nine, or the J-League, and it was the first time an ABSC in the Premier League. Now, Ousmane Dembele, the performance and the importance to the PSG team, I underrated Yanka, but then all born home modern power team. Now, there na Ousmane Dembele, Ousmane Dembele, the position and Kasanga anymore now. Until Luis Enrique did not 2 hours and say, normally he would drive the center backs. I will actually no creative spaces for the wingers and also the fullbacks. And to another human say, the regions are Ousmane Dembele operating in Nano. And ya dear, and no one quite to say, Ojinanim and all train ball and born him. Rather, he would want to come into the deeper regions of the pitch. Say, yeah. Circle and as a center circle anymore. No Ababa Beji. And the other teams in the say they come with Ousmane Dembele into a defender no Ousmane Dembele air track it back now didn't achieve banfim if you want to ma idea yen say the region behind you no e ho na Ashraf Hakimi and no Mendes mo etimi operate no mo dey punish you. So if Arsenal wants to stop Paris Saint-Germain, they need to make sure that almost centre backs and especially William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, they need to check their runs, especially with Ousmane Dembele. And more chini bebre, and ni na chi ma game nim bebre because the moment they leave their position, Nuno Mendes and Ashraf Hakimi will occupy that position. One player, so I was say Arsenal 20 years per Kivisha Varascalia. I think that he's underrated. Oh, you're so underrated. He's a dangerous guy. And if Arsenal are able to stop the runs of Kivisha Varascalia, then clearly Arsenal would have a perfect chance to go into this Champions League final and win. Now, I am hoping, say Arsenal, able to me a defender, send him so my defender no. Send a bit to me winning this particular game for Gunners across board. Ebanasa, they would have a very fantastic season this particular year. Now, my prediction say Arsenal is going to win by 2-1 in this particular UEFA Champions League. Arsenal will win by 2-1 and Arsenal will score first. Arsenal will score first in this particular UEFA Champions League game and they will win by 2-1. Ebana sa mo ambeko fikese mutra na maba comment on mo hune enso agye kakra na bibia nso atimi ai kama. Live on the crew Nsem sack me producer Dino Maestro. You heard him say Arsenal beat me Appeja trophy now. Na my bomb Arsenal JC. Na masandi aba in the next session. My fancy.